Dead easy to set up a blog. I mean, you can go to one of these free services. The hot one until recently was a service called blogger.com. That really kicked it all off a couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago. It's the home of too many spam blogs these days, but there's services like WordPress, free. Just sign up and you've got a blog and you're published in 5 minutes. It's that quick. And people are doing that. And businesses are also doing that. And there are a variety of ways that businesses can do this. So people's attitudes are changing. You could ask, why do people want to do this? Why do individuals want to put their lives on the internet for everyone to see? Is it actually that different to what people have been doing for years with forums and chat rooms? In a sense, no. Some of you here will probably remember things like CompuServe and AOL, which were walled gardens, private communities. I used to be very active in CompuServe. And you do the same thing, really. Now you do it more readily, more easily, more openly, and more people are doing it. So it's kind of influencing people's behaviors, which is a lot to do with this thing called shifting trust, that there's been surveys after surveys in the last 2 years. Who do we trust? Do we trust the media? Do we trust businesses? Do we trust the government? Do we trust PR? Do we trust politicians? A recent survey I saw showed that trust in business seems to be bouncing back a bit. You know, we don't see so often CEOs in handcuffs going to jail on TV as we had done. That had a big influence on people's perception of business. And so we are, I think, seeing a shift in society where people are being more open about what they want from their society. There's a greater desire for transparency, and indeed, it's kind of self-feeding in a sense. People talk about being transparent. But there's transparent, and it's a very difficult one to gain people's trust in. That this tends not to work in organizations that have rigid hierarchies, that are not particularly open in their communication, that have controls in place and have had so for years, where the CEO and other senior executives aren't particularly visible, let's say, tend not to be very successful. So, you know, the worst thing, indeed, one of those kinds of companies can do is try and get into this. It can have disastrous consequences for them. But the reality is that most organizations, and disagree with me if you would like to, and tell me so, aren't like that, I don't think. Most organizations want to be with their people, connecting with people. This is all part of this thing that Grant mentioned, Web 2.0. Does everyone know what Web 2.0 means? Actually asked the question, who doesn't know what it means? Everyone knows what it means? Okay. I think there's 55 different definitions of what it means, personally. But in the context of public relations, it has a distinct meaning, I think. And it's to do with a shift in behavior from describing it the way I've done it here, read only. If you think of websites, you can just read them. Think of the files that you create on a computer, and this is very a kind of tech analogy, but you can make a file read only. People can't change it or add to it. We're seeing a shift now to read-write, which is read and write. You contribute, you can add something to something else. That is part of this change that I think in our context is Web 2.0, how we communicate, how we connect with people. And this other parallel shift, which I find truly amazing, which is this kind of wave of people who are giving things away. I mean, I write a blog and I write stuff on my blog, but I still get people who I've known for many, many years who say to me things like, why on earth do you do that? You should be charging people money for that. And I look at some of the stuff I write and I think, yeah, I could probably persuade someone to pay me 1,000 quid for that opinion about something. But I chose not to. And in fact, 10 years ago, that's what I was doing, actually. It wasn't public, it was all very proprietary. And again, this is part of these shifts that are going on. More people are doing this. You see it all the time in the software business, actually. In the tech business, everything is in beta. It's out there for you to play with and try it out. It doesn't cost you anything largely. That's brand new. That's happened, really, in the last 5 years, I would say. The scale of it is truly quite astonishing.